Hello, my dear ones. Today in our etiquette series, we have a very important topic. It may not seem that important to some people, but in reality, it is a very important topic and there is a lot of debate around it. Back when I filmed my very first etiquette video, I promised I would make this one. This video is about manicure etiquette because there are so many arguments, so many myths. Some say this is absolutely forbidden. There are myths about length, myths about shape, and myths about whether a lady may wear a gel manicure or not. Let's figure it out. First, let's start with length. Of course, everything depends on the dress code. But in any case, if we are talking about etiquette, then for a lady the appropriate shapes are almond, a pleasant oval, and a very rounded, soft square. I'll show you these shapes now. This is a typical soft almond. Well, soft or not, almond is rounded. Almond can be sharper too, but this shape is appropriate for a lady. It is also my favorite shape. Next, we have something between a square and an almond, also a very appropriate, pleasant shape. Here is a more defined oval, but still a very pleasant, rounded one. And finally, I'll show you this. This is a square shape, but very soft and rounded, exactly this classic French manicure, which is appropriate even in a very business-like environment. Good. We've sorted out the shapes for a lady. Now let's talk about length. Here, of course, everything depends on the dress code, but the maximum length for a lady is this. The free edge should not extend beyond the fingertip by more than 1/3 of the whole nail plate. If it is longer than that, it is no longer a lady's nail. It becomes a claw. I love long nails too. But for me, it is important because I am also a master of Ritam dance, and in that practice, there are many movements with the hands, with the plasticity of the hand. In some techniques, these are meditative dances. The length of the nail is very important because we work with energies, and a very short nail is appropriate in some Ritam techniques, but not in others. I like a long nail, but truly, when it is longer than 1/3 of the nail plate itself, it already starts to feel like a claw, not like the gentle hand of a woman. That is from the point of view of etiquette. Please, no one be offended. Girls, I love you all. You are all beautiful. But we are talking about etiquette. We are talking about what is appropriate, harmonious, and beautiful for a lady. Now about color. This is where the biggest manipulation and arguments probably begin. But let us speak about harmony, aesthetics, and the expression of refined taste. Then all these feelings, which are certainly already placed in your beautiful feminine soul, will guide you what is appropriate and what is not, and when it is appropriate or not. If we speak according to dress codes, for example, if we have white tie, the highest level, the one we start with, it is very evening, very ceremonial, and at the same time quite strict. It assumes an updo, a dress with covered shoulders and only precious jewelry. Think about what color would be appropriate. Well, what color? Of course, an evening color. If your dress is in some rich evening shade, an evening color, yes. Or your dress may be neutral, beige, pink, powdery, but still very elegant, always floor length, made of expensive fabric. What manicure would you choose for such a dress? Probably a nude color, perhaps with a little shimmer. That would be appropriate. If you are wearing gloves, your hands may still be seen. And if there is a dinner, your hands will definitely be seen, because before a formal lunch or dinner you will have to remove the glove, no matter how long it is or how much it covers the hand. And since you will remove the glove, Your manicure will then be visible to everyone. It must match your outfit. If, for example, your dress is in nude or calm tones, even if it is very evening and very elegant, choose a manicure in the same spirit. But because it is still a celebration, you may choose a nude manicure, but with a pearl or chrome powder effect. For example, it may look more metallic. Here I have one nail like that, and it would be perfectly appropriate. The maximum length is still up to 1/3 of your nail length. That is appropriate. But if a lady chooses a length closer to 1/3, with the nail extending noticeably beyond the fingertip, then it is better to make it more almond-shaped. A square will look aggressive in this case. What else about color? If, for example, you have a burgundy velvet evening gown for white tie, then a red manicure is possible, even a manicure that matches the dress. Yes, that is possible for white tie, but still be careful. For white tie, let this be very elegant, very calm colors, muted burgundy. For example, that will be good. Some bright, screaming color, a lot of rhinestones, or something like that on the nails at white tie that would not be elegant. This is a very high dress code. You must show your elegance as much as possible. Nothing should be loud or flashy. If you have, for example, a beautiful comb, softly burgundy manicure matching a burgundy velvet dress, and on two nails at most there is a gentle decoration, even a beautiful rhinestone layout, perhaps echoing the pattern of your necklace that can be exquisite. But if every finger has rhinestones and glitter, well, excuse me, this is not a royal reception. And we are speaking about a royal reception because these are royal receptions. The Nobel Prize ceremony, events of this level are white tie. Be careful even here with an evening manicure. If we move to black tie, that could be the Oscars or evening events at a government level. It may be going to the theater, to a luxurious premiere, for example, or to a magnificent opera house, to an Andrea Bocelli concert. Why not? Of course, that would be a wonderful black tie occasion. To listen to the best voice in the world today in a beautiful opera house. Yes, that is black tie. It means an evening dress, an elegant dress, and beautiful jewelry as well. And here even expensive costume jewelry is already appropriate. You do not necessarily have to wear gloves. You may choose not to. Then your fingers will be visible and your hairstyle no longer has to be strictly formal and high. There is more room for imagination here. It is still better to choose an evening manicure that matches the color of your dress and jewelry. Here you can even use. Now I will show you one I designed for a black velvet dress with golden sparkles. This is my original work. And now you can look at these nails. Do you see how beautiful they are? For black tie, with the kind of dress I described, they would look beautiful. Here it is done very much in a cat eye style, plus there is sparkle and a golden border on some nails across, on others diagonally. This is a whole set for different nail sizes. So this is also my designer work. For black tie, this is appropriate. And for an evening cocktail event, it would also be appropriate, absolutely. It is restrained. It is very beautiful. It is enchanting, as if you are sinking into a starry sky. It is appropriate for black tie and for a festive evening cocktail. But let's move on. If you are in a business dress code, in an everyday business setting, especially formal business, when multi-million-dollar contracts are signed, when business people meet, when nothing should distract anyone, and minds need to work on signing something important. If you work in an international business sphere, or let's say in the White House, in a Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in a high level government environment, then most likely it will be a French manicure. Here it is. This is acceptable even there. I think everyone knows what a French manicure is. Here we have a standard French manicure, or it may be any nude shade, something that is closest to our natural nail color. This soft powder pink, for example, or this very, very soft beige. Please, all of this is acceptable. The main thing is that the nails must be very neat. So, of course, even that beautiful starry sky manicure I showed you, no, because it would be distracting, it would be inappropriate. Even a completely white polish would still be inappropriate. It should be something as close as possible to a skin tone, something close to natural, so the hands look very neat and well cared for, but do not distract in a business or government environment. But if it is business creative, when you have already signed a good contract and are going to celebrate, maybe at a corporate party, then you can allow yourself more. For example, you can take the same nude manicure. I'll show you. Here is a nail in the style. Yes, this pink one. On two nails. For example, on the index finger of one hand and on one nail of the other hand, you can add a little painting in the same tone. Maybe make that nude slightly lighter and add a design. That would be completely appropriate. It is beautiful for business creative, but not in a formal business setting. In a regular business office, too, there is usually an expectation that this will not be very appropriate because you will come in and your appearance may distract people from the business environment. That is not appropriate. But in business creative, it is possible when it is, after all, a corporate party. In the same way, in business creative, you can allow yourself, for example, white polish with some decorative finish, but still very carefully. If you are simply in a wonderful mood and you are going to an afternoon tea, yes, an after five style, then more is already appropriate, even if it is a fairly formal party where people have manners and no etiquette. But here you can allow yourself, for example, a delicate blue, a delicate pink, or this beautiful powdery violet. And you can add some design on two nails, but very carefully with refinement. Then, yes, this is also about being a lady, and it will be perceived normally. If you are going to an evening party, then you can also allow yourself either something like black tie, even this kind of, as I showed you, like a starry sky, or something with this metallic powder effect. But again, do not overdo it if you are a lady. If it is a design, like here, yes, the starry sky really should be a starry sky. It should be captivating, not just a random mess of who knows what. More glitter, more challenge, strange colors. It really has to be an elegant picture on the nails. Please remember this. And now let's talk about a few more general rules. We talked about length and we talked about shape, but there is also the question of when you need to change your manicure, how much your polish can grow out from the nail before it is time to redo it. The classic option. Right now mine has grown out by about 1.5 millimeters. I understand that in a couple of days, even though the cuticle is still in good condition and there are no chips anywhere, I will change it because this is already not a lady's manicure. When it grows out too far, more than 2 millimeters, it is not beautiful. It shows that a woman is, well, a little lazy about caring for herself. If there are chips in the polish or gel, then of course the manicure needs to be changed. Either fix it yourself or go to your nail technician if you have one. This is very important because it says a lot. A woman whose hands are not fully cared for, that is unpleasant. If the edges begin to catch on things, grow out, change, and the shape is already distorted, it also needs to be redone. What else? And of course, well-groomed cuticles. The hand itself must be cared for, and so must the cuticles. If the cuticles are not cleaned up, if they are uneven, rough, visibly unfeminine, overgrown, with hangnails, these are not the hands of a lady. It no longer matters what polish you have, or whether it is beautiful or not. If the hands look like that, then no, that is taboo. It is not a lady's manicure. It is simply something unclear. For example, I have my YouTube channel where I film about the garden. I have a very large garden and I care for many plants. Besides that, I love doing a lot of housework myself. It has been this way all my life. I was never a woman who does nothing with her hands, because no matter how life turned out, at least I always had a garden and I take care of all of it. But if you want your hands to be well cared for, you will find a way. You will put on gloves, and later in the evening you will not forget to care for your hands. All of this is possible. Beautiful, well-groomed hands and women's hands are always beautiful. They simply need to be cared for and kept neat. And then it is wonderful. Nails simply help here. They help you create your image. They help remind you that you are a woman and how beautiful that is. So please do not forget this. And in the next video, in connection with everything I have told you, we will already talk about the myths around gel manicure. But I will not keep the intrigue too much. In some resources, they simply write that a lady would never allow herself to have a gel manicure. You know, even some women who are representatives of royal families of ducal rank wear gel manicures now, and it is completely normal. Because if a gel manicure is done by a good technician, you will never know whether it is gel or regular polish. The question is not about gel manicure as such. The question is why gel manicure is sometimes almost on the edge of taboo when it comes to keeping the hands in proper condition and making sure the manicure follows all these rules of manicure etiquette. But we will talk about that another time. Let this be an already slightly open, but still small intrigue. Our etiquette episodes are released every Monday evening, Pacific time. And I love you, my dear ones. I wish you to understand how beautiful it is to live up to the title of a lady and what that truly means, and simply to give yourself this gift. Until next time, my dear ones, bye bye.